Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Man, that's a lot of gold behind Putin. I'm sure it's just some kind of backdrop, but we know Putin's been piling up on the gold. Them and China as well. Is there a reason why Putin's loading up on gold? Maybe he had already thought about the repercussions of invading Ukraine, and he was prepared for it. So could Putin be the man that liberates precious metals? If you don't mind, before we get started, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. As you know, it helps us get past the algorithm set by YouTube that blocks us from unsubscribed viewers. And if you are not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel. And I surely do appreciate it. Right now is an awesome time to be buying precious metals. So if you're going to go buy gold or any other precious metals, go check out our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half-ounce of silver. So a quick look at cryptocurrencies. They have kind of slowed down. Yes, I understand they're in the red, and Bitcoin is down $1,800, but it's still above the $41,000, almost $42,000 mark. So it's holding there, at least so far. But they seem to have stalled. They're not going up too high. They're not coming down too low. So they're right there in that mid-range. You have Bitcoin at $41,996. Ethereum at $2,806. New World Order Coin, XRP, is at 74 cents. Solana is at $94.99. Cardano is sitting at 89 cents. Polkadot's at $17.87. Dogecoin is just below 13 cents at 12.8 cents. Shiba at 4025. Polygon at $1.56. Crypto.com at 42 cents. So now I can see that the cryptos are all back in line with one another. You can take a look at the graphs and see how they're moving together. That's why I keep saying to people, high tide lifts all ships. Actually, I think what I was saying was low tide lifts all ships, and people were going, hey, I think you got that wrong. Yeah, I did. I admit it. But they are moving all together once again. The other day, I was happy to see them all moving in their own little ways. That's how they should be moving. But cryptos right now have kind of stalled. No biggie. This is a time to accumulate if you want. If you're interested in buying cryptocurrencies, down below in the description is a link that'll take you to a website that you can go ahead and start buying cryptocurrencies on. It's really user-friendly. Just follow it along. Satomi is 7017 and climbing. Over the last hour, it's up 0.5%. Over the last 24, it's up 1.1%. Over the last 7 days, it is down 0.1%. Over the last 14 days, it is negative 5.8%. And over the last 30 days, it is negative 43%. It had a little bump today and then all of a sudden came back down. But at least it is keeping consistent in the same range. So Satomi still holding on to it, holding it inside my Coinbase wallet and accumulating reflections. I already accumulated a few $100 million. I'll take them. The other day I was talking about Sber Bank in Russia. Its average cost per share is somewhere between $14 and $15. I should say $14 and $16. It dropped all the way down to $1, and I thought, man, this is a good investment. That's why I'm buying some. And I suggested it to you guys. And then the very next day, it went up to about $1.27. And by the end of the day, it was back down in the negatives, around 90 cents. Now it's down to 52 cents. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. I have no doubt that this bank will rebound. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I understand we're going through all kinds of crap right now in the Ukraine, but eventually this stock is going to rebound. So if we look at the max length on this, you go back to what's this, almost 2012. So you can see here, January 2015, the stock was way down here around $3.83, and it's been making its climb. The stock has had some peaks and had some drops, but on average, it's sitting somewhere about the 1422 level. So if that's the case, as soon as we're done dealing with all this invasion and everything else, eventually this stock will work its way back up. I don't think it's going to take very long at all for it to get up there. The fact that you can pick it up for 50 cents right now is one heck of a deal. Now, if you put $1,000 into there, what are we getting? You know, I'm just rounding off numbers. I know it says 52 cents, but let's say 50. You put 1,000 in there, now you have 2,000 shares. If it goes back up to 14, then you have 28,000 off what? Off $1,000 investment. I do think this is a great deal. Silver's at $25.16. It's still maintaining that level right above $25. But there's reason to believe it's going to take off, and I'll show you that here in a minute. So silver at $25.16. Gold continues to move up. Nice. It's trying to recover all the losses from that big dip. It's at $1,937.60. This is a big dip I'm talking about right here. Like silver, it's kind of running horizontal here. I get there's some little peaks and little valleys, but for the most part, it's running pretty consistently around that 1936 level. So I'm really happy about the fact that precious metals are holding tight so I can continue to stock up on them as much as I can before this fella makes his move. Shout out to Chris Marcus. He had this video on his channel today. So I'm going to play it for you. I hope you don't mind. Because what this man says is interesting, and let's go over it. If Putin does what this man says, you're going to see silver prices shoot up through the roof. Let's listen in.
You mentioned earlier as well that I'd like to dig into a bit more. You know, we think about the role of gold and the currency wars that we're seeing here, but you pointed out that the LBMA and the COMEX could be the Achilles heel of the US dollar system. So can you explain your thinking a little bit more on that topic, please?
Yeah, and this ties into sort of unappreciated weapons, currency war weapons the Russians can use. And Jim Rickards wrote about this 10 years ago. FOFOA wrote about this. A friend of mine, Pete Traska, wrote about this. The point is that the unallocated London gold market, it's not appreciated that much. That basically gold, Paul Volcker in the 70s said, gold is my enemy, right? Gold is the enemy. Gold, it's not the enemy. It's like saying a thermometer in Arizona in June is the enemy. It's not the enemy. It's just you're in Arizona in June. It's friggin' hot. And so in the same way, the way central bankers have managed, it was their enemy because they would have to tighten rates when they didn't want to tighten rates. Right. It was forcing them to actually exercise discipline. So what they have done to control these markets has been to allow the robust expansion of paper gold, unallocated gold in London in particular, where there are unallocated over-the-counter claims. Who knows? It's been estimated anywhere 20x, 50x, 100x, 1000x. Nobody knows. Mm-hmm. You have some guesses. They're all guesses. COMEX also, it has gotten more paper driven. I mean, I had one of the biggest physical gold traders in the world tell me, I think 4 years ago, that, when he started in the business 20 years prior to that, probably 20% of the volume on COMEX in the gold markets was at least related to a physical ounce. He's like, that's now probably 2%, and the volume's probably risen 3, 4, 5x. So they've basically, it's not the same thing in COMEX as it is in unallocated, but the bottom line is if you have inflation and that inflation drives and monetary inflation, you expand the monetary base, you run big deficits. If that drives gold demand, there's two ways to deal with that gold demand. You can let the price of gold rise, more dollars chasing the same gold price up, or you can let the number of paper claims on gold ounces rise. And that way, with that, you can manage the pace of gold's rise. Mm-hmm. That's what they have chosen to do. That, though, is the weak link, because if you look at COMEX inventories, a small hedge fund could go to COMEX and say, I want to take all of it and break the market. Mm-hmm. The fact that they don't, there's an extraordinary informational value that most people just ignore. The fact that some small hedge fund hasn't gone and created a short squeeze like they did in AMC or like GameStop last year, right? Mm-hmm. Why not? Why not is because you get talked to by someone who has haircuts like ours, and they're like, you don't understand. That's not going to happen. We're going to cash settle you, and you will be persona non grata, best case. Mm-hmm. And that's just, again, this is statecraft. Gold is not just some free market. It is a political metal. Mm-hmm. And so now, if you're going to do that, if you're going to do the Hunt Brothers short squeeze, right? I'm not speculating. The Hunt Brothers tried this in mm-hmm. silver in 1980. The system has to protect itself. The Hunt brothers were not a sovereign. The Hunt brothers were not the biggest oil exporter in the world, like Russia is. The Hunt brothers did not have nuclear weapons. The Hunt brothers did not have an army. The Hunt brothers were not closely allied with China, who's the world, so on and so forth, right? It's a very different game at that level. And that's why I say people underappreciate the leverage that the energy that Russia has as their real currency could be. What if Russia comes out and just says, listen, we and China have agreed that to get around sanctions, we are going to transact in we're gonna settle gold or oil, in physical gold at a new ratio of 1,000 barrels per ounce of gold. And everyone is going to go, oh my God, this is a great arbitrage, right? I'm going to go buy 1,000 ounces of COMEX gold or GLD, and then I'm going to convert it to physical. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to take the physical over to Russia, and I'm going to get 1,000 barrels of oil, and then I'm going to sell the oil, and I'm going to get rich. And the market probably is going to shut down. It's going to crash instantly. The paper gold markets will just go boop, cash settle everybody, game over.
Right.
And then you're going to, the oil, the real value is going to reprice gold. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not saying that will happen. I think that's a long shot. If I was Putin and if I was pushed that far, that's what I would do. Mm-hmm. Because again, he already has the gold. Great. He's going to write up the value. People keep saying he's going to sell his gold. He might sell some gold. I don't know. But I don't think he will. Mm-hmm. Why sell your gold when you have the oil? You can use the oil to revalue the gold to give you all the dollars you need.
So again, shout out to Chris Marcus who put this video up. I'm just borrowing it from him. So is that something that Putin would do if he wanted to crash the American economy? Would that work? Would that happen? If Putin and China got together and they found a way to revalue gold, well, then of course what happens over here in America, our gold goes up as well. So what he's talking about crashing is the paper market for gold and silver, which I wish he would. They have been manipulating the markets and ripping miners off for decades. And they've been ripping off investors for decades by manipulating the market. If Putin crashes the paper market, all hell would break loose. Then some people are going to be held accountable for, which is what you want. Hopefully they free the market. We don't have no more of this crap. Revaluing gold would do a lot for our debts. A lot of people know we're up in trillions of dollars worth of debt. One way of taking a big chunk of it out of there, revalue gold, reset the ratio to 15-1 to gold and silver, and bring up the value of silver as well. So I don't know. There's a huge part of me wanting this to happen. I would love for Putin to expose all the criminality that's going on in the gold and silver markets. I mean, the politicians know it's there, but they do nothing about it. If you do this on the market and the paper market is exposed, you're going to have a lot of very pissed off people. And somebody is going to have to be accountable for that. So keeping my fingers crossed. Hopefully Putin does this. For those of you who are out there, we talk all the time. I hear people say they still believe that Putin is fighting the New World Order. If that's the case, then he definitely wants to do exactly what this gentleman is talking about. It would expose them big time. Anyways, that's it for now. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do it, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And you might want to start stocking up now if you've been procrastinating on precious metals. I'll talk to you later. I'm out.